Thanks, Jade. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome, and thanks all for coming. And I want to today announce on behalf of the AFL Commission that Andrew Dillon will be appointed as the new Chief Executive of the AFL. So, congratulations. Thanks, Richard. We believe this is the biggest job in Australian sport. In fact, I think it's probably bigger than that. And I want to congratulate Andrew, who's clearly the best choice to take over from Dillon McLachlan. He's an exceptional football person. He's been a key leader in the AFL. He's been involved in every major decision of the AFL for many years. And he's the choice of the Commission amongst a field of high-quality candidates in what was a very, very competitive search process. He's a standout choice from the AFL's Commission point of view. He brings a wealth of experience across the elite and community football fields. He's been involved in major broadcast deals, corporate partnership deals, and developing the AFL's response to some key social issues. He's a highly respected leader. In fact, when we announced at our house this morning, the reception was emphatically positive. He's known and supported across the industry for his calm, considered and collaborative approach. We need someone in this role who has a genuine love for the game, and Andrew has that massive love and care for the game, and he's demonstrated that over 23 years at the AFL. He knows football, he knows the football community, he knows our supporters, he knows our volunteers and our participants, he knows the players, and he has a clear vision of where he wants to take the game to more and more people. We know Andrew will expertly guide football to a new era of growth and further build on the work that Gil and his team have done over the past decade, ensuring that our game is the sport and entertainment choice in every home in Australia. Andrew will immediately become CEO-elect, and in accordance with good practice and the need for a smooth transition, Gillon's agreed to continue as CEO of the AFL until the conclusion of the 2023 AFL Premiership season. I want to thank Gil for his continued leadership and dedication to the game, as well as changing some of his immediate arrangements to accommodate what will be a seamless transition. So Andrew will officially take over as Chief Executive of the AFL from Monday, October the 2nd, 2023. He'll begin the recruitment process for an EGM football operations, and in the interim, General Manager of Competition Management, Laura Kane, will take on the role as acting EGM football. Additionally, our General Manager of Legal and Regulatory, Stephen Mead, has been appointed the AFL's new General Counsel. We've got significant momentum as a code, given the spectacular interest, the success of the recent gather round, and record attendances over the first 6 rounds. It's important we continue that momentum as we move to new leadership of the AFL. So during the transition period, Andrew will also evaluate the broader structure of our organisation to set us up for success, with an enhanced focus on ensuring the game remains affordable and accessible to our fans, as well as ensuring community football, umpiring and the AFLW remain strong. I want to thank all candidates who participated in the recruitment process. It was incredibly competitive. The process identified a number of excellent candidates, both within the football industry and externally, who are and will continue to be outstanding leaders and whose professionalism, vision and clear love of our game all stood out through the process. On behalf of the AFL Commission, I again want to thank Gil for the work he's done. He's led us through some very significant milestones recently, and I want to thank him for his continued support of Andrew through the transition. I also want to thank our AFL clubs and the AFL team for their support and patience through the process. The leadership question is the most important decision the Commission makes, and it's vital that we get it right. And we're confident in Andrew. We've got the right person at the right time to take us forward and guide us in what we think is an exciting era ahead. And lastly, I want to recognise Andrew's family, Amanda and Lucy, and Pippa, happy birthday Pippa, and Chloe. You're going to be part of what is this big job, and congratulations to you, and to you, Andrew, well done.
Thanks very much, Richard. It's a really humbling moment for me to be appointed as the next CEO of the AFL. I want to take the opportunity now to thank Richard, Robin, Paul and the entire AFL Commission for trusting and empowering me to take on this role. Richard in particular, thank you for the guidance and support that you've provided me and the entire AFL executive during your time on the Commission. We're fortunate to have a person of your integrity, intelligence and experience leading the organisation. Football's been a defining part of my life, as it has for so many of our supporters, and it's a privilege and an honour to be given the opportunity to lead the AFL. I'm looking forward to working with our AFL team, our clubs, our players, our coaches and the wider industry to ensure our game continues to expand its reach. It's imperative we continue to strengthen every part of our game, from the 18 AFL clubs who've now got AFL and AFLW programs, right through to community football, which is so important to so many people. Every touch point in footy should be positive and memorable, from a parent signing a kid up to Auskick for the first time, to a player being drafted, or an umpire debuting on a Saturday afternoon in community footy. Our game connects with so many, and I'm going to be driven to ensure we continue to make all of these moments unforgettable. It's really important, and I can't stress it enough, that we are a game for everyone. A game that is and will remain accessible, affordable and safe, and a game where everyone feels welcome. Our AFL and community clubs are the lifeblood of the industry, and I will be club and community focused and committed to ensuring that the game is at the heart of all the decisions that the AFL makes. I believe strongly in the power of footy to connect people, regardless of your background, gender or beliefs, and I want to have footy in every home across the country. We're going to make sure that football is the #1 sport of choice for everyone all across Australia. I've been so fortunate to be involved with footy at so many levels throughout my life, from my first game as a 5-year-old in an under-10s match at the Grange Road Reserve, right through to junior club and school football. I umpired, albeit not very well, in the old HDJFL during my high school years, and then I played some community football for 16 years at senior level. I've run an Auskick centre, I've been an assistant coach at senior level for the old Zabs, and I coached junior girls footy at the Q Comets for 5 years. And I can tell you that in my 23 years at the AFL, there has been no tougher job than trying to run a training session on a Friday afternoon for an under-13 girls team. I've seen and experienced firsthand the power that community footy has to connect people, and also how important community clubs are, not only to the football industry, but to the wider community, as a place where people can come together and they can feel a part of something that's bigger than themselves. I'm extremely conscious of the responsibility I have to lead this game, and I trust that my first-hand experience will hold me in good stead for this responsibility. In my time at the AFL, I've been extremely fortunate to work with and for some amazing chairs, Ron Evans, Mike Fitzpatrick and Richard, and also some amazing CEOs, Wayne Jackson, Andrew Demetriou and Gil. I want to thank them for the support, encouragement and wise counsel that they've given me over the years, and I wouldn't be sitting here without that, so thank you. I also want to specifically and particularly acknowledge the great work that Gil has done in his time as the AFL CEO. The game's never been in better shape. The AFL and our elite clubs are strong, with record attendances, record membership, record ratings, and the industry is financially robust as a result of our long-standing broadcast partners, Foxtel, News Limited and Seven, and also long-standing and committed corporate partners like Toyota, NAB and Telstra. There are still many opportunities and ongoing work streams, and I am thankful that Gil has agreed to stay on until the end of the 2023 season to enable us to finish off those work streams and take advantage of the opportunities while I transition to the CEO role. He's a great friend of mine, and he's been great to work with and for the past 23 years. To my exec colleagues, Travis, Kylie, Tanya, Sarah, Rob, Walter and Walshy, I love working with you, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do together into the future. To my immediate team in football, legal and integrity of the AFL, Laura Kane, Lisa Laurie, Nicole Livingston, Kate Hall, Grant Williams, Stephen Mead, Regan Adams and Tony Kane. Every day you amaze me with the calibre of work that you produce. You're no fuss manner in the way you go about it, and you're always doing it with the game's best interests at heart. I have been fortunate to serve on some boards during my time at the AFL, including the Basher Hooley Foundation, the Michael Long Foundation and Fight MND. To have the opportunity to work closely with people like Basher Hooley and Michael Long, who inspire their communities, has been a great learning experience for me. And through my work with Fight MND, I've been able to witness up close possibly the greatest inspiration of all, Neil Danaher. His fight, his resilience and his determination motivates me every day. To the whole team at the AFL, I'm so excited to be given this opportunity, and I look forward to working with you so we can continue to ensure that the AFL remains the #1 sport in Australia and becomes even more popular. And lastly, to my family, to my siblings and their partners over in the UK and up in Brisbane, Marion, Chrissy and Andy, Michael and Caitlin and Johnny and Lou, and my nieces and nephews Josie, Jimmy, Charlie, Bridget and Paddy, thanks for your support over the years. To my younger brother Robbie, who is sadly no longer with us, I hope you're looking down on us all today and you're feeling proud, and I hope you're not too despondent about the Tigers being beaten by Gold Coast yesterday. To my mum and dad, Alison and Jack, you provided the 6 of us with a supportive and loving upbringing and provide us with opportunities that we are forever grateful. All I can say is thank you. Dad was a football club president at De La Salle and then went on to be the league president and chairman at the VAFA. My love of football was formed, playing matches on Saturday mornings, then spending the afternoon watching De La play, then spending Saturday nights playing scratch matches on the same oval for hours on end with my brothers and sisters and the O'Callaghan kids and the Hoy kids, whilst Jack and Tony O'Callaghan and Bernie Hoy dissected the afternoon's match in the club rooms. While Dad introduced me to community football, it was Mum who took me to my first VFL game. It was between Richmond and Melbourne at the MCG on a cold day in May 1976. I loved that game, and even though Richmond were leaving at half-time, I made Mum leave so that we could catch the train to get to the D-Lay ground in Glen Iris because I didn't want to be late for the scratch match after the game. To my 3 daughters, Lucy, Pippa and Chloe, I'm glad to see you here today. It was looking highly unlikely yesterday when Lucy reminded me it's her first day of a new job today. Pippa reminded me it's her 20th birthday, and Chloe's missing a geography test, which she's actually quite happy about. You keep me grounded, you make me laugh, and I'm very proud of the 3 of you. To my wife Amanda, you've been by my side the entire time at the AFL. We've come a long way since that time you came to watch the old Zags and I spent the entire game on the bench, and you remind me about it every so often. The girls are a credit to you and your caring nature, and thanks so much for everything you do for us as a family. Thank you again everyone. It's not lost on me the responsibility I have to the greatest game in the world, and I want everyone to know I will always put the game first. Thank you.
Andrew, a well-docked congratulations, a huge search process. Can you just take us through the moment when Richard, and your reaction when Richard called, I imagine it might have been last week or whatever it was, and your reaction when that happened?
That's a very good question, Tom, first up. It was a mixture of everything. It was excitement, it was relief, and there was trepidation as well. It's a massive job and it's a massive responsibility. But to have Richard and the Commission entrust me with that responsibility means a lot. So it was a mixture of everything, Tom. But right now I'm really excited. I'm just humbled but proud to be here and to have this great responsibility.
Tom, I don't think it was a call, mate. I think actually it was face to face, but we had to find somewhere where you weren't studying.
When did you make the eventual decision?
The Commission met the weekend before last, and I had a clear recommendation to the Commission, which was subject to further conversation with Andy, which took place last week.
Richard, what I was just going to ask, are you prepared to go from, like, in the eyes of football supporters, relative anonymity, which I suspect you enjoy, to now being the face of the AFL and responsible basically every bad umpiring decision, every bad result, everything? Are you prepared for that meteoric rise now to being the face of the AFL?
I mean, I'm also I'll be responsible for all the good umpiring decisions as well, Tony. But it is it's part of the job. But I think also we've got a great executive team here, and we'll be looking at what's the best structure for the AFL to go forwards for the next 10 and 15 years, and it'll be a leadership team. But yeah, Tony, I'm completely aware of it, and it's something I'm looking forward to.
Richard, what put Andrew ahead of the other candidates?
Well, as I said, it was a very competitive process, and the commission had to think about how are we best going to drive football forward from the incredible position we're in now. And I think for the reasons you've just heard in terms of Andrew's, the way Andrew addressed this meeting, yeah, he's got the passion, the love of the game, a person of high integrity. He's been involved in every major decision, and we've had properly the capabilities assessed against others and benchmarked against actually global best practice, and Andrew stacks up incredibly well in terms of global CEOs. So he's got the makeup, the resilience, we think the capabilities to drive the AFL forward. And you know, we've spent a lot of time on this to make sure we get the right outcome, and the Commission's very confident we have.
Why did it take so long?
Well, I think the most important thing is the outcome, and the outcome is what we've announced today. You know, when Gillon announced last year he was going to go, it was towards the end of last year, the Hawthorn thing logged. We wanted to deal with that, and as we've announced over the weekend, or the governments have announced over the weekend, that hopefully we can move things forward in the next couple of days. There's been a few other things that have been a priority in the AFL which have been incredibly important to the game. So I don't think we've lost any momentum over the period. I think the leadership that Gill's shown has been exemplary through the period, and the AFL's in great shape.
You've also got a couple of vacancies still on the Commission. When more vacancies?
It's interesting, 2 or 3 years ago I was given a hard time for having too many commissioners, and now it seems to be the other way around. So if you look back over history, the Commission's normally had 7 or 8 commissioners. We've got 7 commissioners at the moment. There are, we're looking to bring someone on with some football expertise, and we'll deal with that as soon as we can sensibly do that.
And did anyone around you or you need convincing over the last 18 months that you were the right person for the role?
Well, when the role became available, it was something you do think long and hard about it. But once I put my hand up and was in the process, I've been in it the whole way. And yeah, as I said, it's a great responsibility, but I'm really looking forward and I'm excited about it.
Andrew, what differences will you make to the job publicly?
Sorry, Dave.
What differences will you seek to make to the job that we've had, that Gillon's had for 9 years?
Well, I think if you go through, particularly the last few years, as we've transitioned out of COVID, and we've had different structures, even with me being in the role of EGM of football and also as the General Counsel, I think what we will do, and Richard said, we're going to be looking for a new EGM of football, and they'll be empowered to make decisions and be really strong advocates and the public face of football for the AFL. So, but I'll be a strong leader, and I'll be making sure that we keep moving in the right direction, Damien.
Andrew, Richard just mentioned Hawthorn. How do you intend to approach that issue to resolve it?
Well, I mean, I think it's well documented. We've got an independent process in place, and that's playing out at the moment. And it's a complex issue, and I feel for everyone who's involved in it. And what we're going to do is work to get to the best and the right outcome. But it's an independent process, and we have to respect that.
It's very protracted now. Would you like to see it resolved?
I think everyone would like things resolved sooner than they can. But as Richard said, you've got to get to the right outcome. And often in these things, it's all about getting the process right. And what we're not going to do is cut any corners or fast-track the process. We're going to get to the right outcome, and we'll get it in the right time.
Andrew, I think the perception is that you're a traditionalist in one sense of experience of the game, but perhaps progressive on issues like trade and issues like that. Where do you sit on the time of the grand final?
So, I went to my first grand final in 1976, Tom. I've been to 2 drawn grand finals. I've been to a grand final at Waverley. And I was fortunate enough over the last 3 years to go to a grand final that was at the Gabba, that was at night. I went to one at Optus Stadium that was a twilight grand final. And then last year I was back at the MCG for a day grand final. They've all been amazing. I haven't been to a bad grand final, but last year's grand final was really good.
Andrew, what do you see as the biggest challenge you're facing in this role, and what is the league's biggest challenge it's facing?
Oh, look, I see it as opportunities, and I think we've got an amazing opportunity in community footy with the Commission late last year committing 10% of industry revenue, a minimum of 10% of revenue to community football. I think if we can invest that in the right way, in the right places, we'll just propel the AFL to be the clear #1 sport of choice for all people all over Australia. So I see that as it's a challenge, but it's also a great opportunity for us.
Sorry, can I just ask, how's this co-captaincy going with Dillon Gill? Are you making any decisions prior to October 2? Like, are you making decisions for the future, and is Gil making decisions for today? How's it?
So Gil and I have worked together very closely for 23 years. We've spoken about this. We've got no issues about how it's going to work. I mean, I think the biggest concern over the next 5 months, particularly for my wife, is how Gil and I are going to deal with the breakup. But I think we're fine, Tony. It happens in corporate Australia all the time, transition periods, and Gil and I, with the relationship that we've got, the professional relationship, which is what it will be, there'll be no concerns there.
So will you make any decisions?
I make decisions every day, Tony, and I'll continue to do that.
Andrew, just for those that would, an unimpeachable football resume, some would say the Xavier boy come through,
Or maybe Campbell Grammar job.
Yeah, exactly. What do you say the perceptions to a boys' club?
I think you only have to look at the calibre of our executive team and the calibre of my football integrity and legal team to say that there's no boys' club here. We've got a talented, diverse workforce, and everyone's opinions are listened to and acted on. Yeah, like the more diverse the talent, the better the decisions you get. So I don't buy that one bit.
Andrew, just further to TJ's question, who's the lead point, for example, on the CBA and the Hawthorn issue? Is that you or is that Gil?
Yeah, good question. That'll be one that Gil and I work together. But at the moment, Trav's leading the CBA for us and doing a great job as we work through a really complicated issue, and we'll continue to do that. But something like the CBA, it's a team issue anyway. We've got AFLW, AFL, we've got football, we've got wellbeing. There's all parts of the business are involved in the CBA, and the same with the Hawthorn. And Stephen, in his role as General Counsel, will have an important part to play with Hawthorn.
Andrew, what would a new team in Tasmania need for the state and for the competition?
I mean, I think the announcement on Saturday, I can't think that anyone wouldn't have just been absolutely buoyed by that, and we thank the Prime Minister and also the Premier of Tasmania for the great work they've done, and also the Tasmanian Task Force going back many years for the work they've done. It's a really exciting time, and there's some key decisions probably to be had in the next potentially day or coming days and coming weeks about Tasmania. But all the building blocks are in place, and we're really looking forward. It's exciting.
Do you have a timeline for the licence?
Not a specific timeline. It's a decision for the commission, and like we said, we'll get the right outcome at the right time. We'll run the right process.
Richard, another internal appointment as a CEO, third in a row. Is it virtually impossible for a person external to AFL House to get this job?
I actually think it's a real positive in terms of what's been built here, and the fact that Andrew's the right person to take us forward, and that's why I think the transition will be seamless, and I have no concerns whatsoever about how the transition will work. It's how things should work. So, the Commission did the right thing, looking externally and judging all candidates against what we think is best in class criteria. But I think it's a hallmark of Gil's time and good management that within the AFL House there's very strong successes.
Well, how come it took so long to reach?
I think I've answered that before.
Great.
Andrew, just on the vision thing, it's always, I suppose, the ultimate test of why you hire someone. Can you just tell us more about your pitch for how you take the game forward? Is it built just around community football, or is it the bigger picture?
It's a bit bigger than that, but it's community. We're going to be club focused, but it's about being a truly national. We've got a truly national competition. We want to be a truly national sport overseen by a truly national organisation. We want to keep the elite games as spectacular as possible, so AFL and AFLW. At the same time, we've got to be financially robust, and we've got to continue to grow. And as importantly, it's got to be a safe place. So we want to be safe, culturally safe, and also safe from a physical point of view. So we're going to continue to put the health and safety of all our players and participants into
Andrew,
the forefront.
What are the areas where the game's maybe not failed, but has to improve the most?
As in the AFL or the?
The AFL.
I think I said before. I think I just see challenges and opportunities everywhere. So I think we want to be. Where we'll continue to grow will be community, and so I think we just need to continue to invest into community, and that's the place where it hasn't been forgotten, but sometimes it has been the first. When through COVID, community probably got hit more than any. So that's why we've got the 10% of industry revenue in there forever, and that's the challenge and the opportunity I see, Jake.
Andrew, you've been at the chair with the game in robust good health. What's your future plans? Do you feel like you'll be at the helm for significant years to come? Sorry, Richard, sorry.
Oh, it's been, the AFL's in great shape. Proper succession is part of everything, and in due course there'll be proper succession of the Commission, but my job and the Commission's job now is to do everything we can to ensure that Andrew and the team he put in place are successful. I think a lot of people don't actually understand the complexity of the AFL. It's a big organisation, and the role, it's different to what it was in 2014 with an elite women's competition now. The regulatory and compliance side is incredibly important, as we've seen. We've got an opportunity on the back of the media rights and the terrific work Kylie's doing on the commercial side of things to build a much stronger balance sheet and future for the organisation. And we've got an opportunity, as Andrew said, to put footy into every house and have more participation. It's an incredibly exciting time. So my role is to, and that of the Commission, is to give Andrew as much support as we can, and then in due course there'll be appropriate succession at Commission level as well, and I'm sure that'll be as seamless as this will be.
Andrew, how long do you think before you can get the Giants filling stadiums and up and running?
The Giants have done an amazing job, but you look at Sydney, it was a generational move. The Swans went up to Sydney in 1982, and it was they were an overnight success that took 30 years. So the investment that the AFL's making into Sydney and Western Sydney, and also on the Gold Coast, they're generational decisions, and we're working closely with the Giants at the moment. We're putting in extra resources to help them get people to the games, but also to build really solid foundations. And we'll just continue to work with the Giants and the Swans, because Sydney's an important area for us to continue to grow in.
Richard, are you aware of agitation at the club level, and if so, is that a concern for you?
There's a commentary and there's the reality. I reckon I've spoken to every club president 3 or 4 times in the last 3 or 4 weeks, including going to all 9 games in Adelaide a couple of weekends ago, and every club president has been absolutely supportive of ensuring that we make the right appointment as AFL CEO, and I know they've got confidence in me and the Commission that we've done that.
Great, thanks everyone.